And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
I doubt many people who follow the early Roman Empire, or I guess I should say the mid to late Roman Empire, are going to say that it was not a time of great chaos, with leaders assassinating other leaders, taking the place, leaders coming in from invading tribes and taking over. It was just a pretty tough period of history. And this game, Tyrants of Rome, is about the 3rd century AD and controlling different prominent Roman leaders, or leaders, I guess, who affected Rome to some degree. And the game itself is not a game of, I don't want to say it's low quality, but it's lower quality than most. You can see it has a slipcover, and then the game itself is in a plain white box. And it's basically made up of 2 decks of cards and then a couple dice, and that's basically it. Now, the game does come with this rule book, and at first glance, you might think the game's a fairly complicated one because there's 33 pages of rules. But in essence, this is actually a really simple game. The only reason it's so long is because, well, for one thing, they don't put too many rules on the page, and they also repeat them constantly, spell them out very clearly, line by line, with lots of pictures, and even at the end, they talk about each card, 2 cards per page. And so, I want rule books to be simple. I want rule books to tell me how to play a game. This one may actually go too far in that direction, to the point where you're like, well, come on, I'm just looking for something, and I'm talking for 4 pages here about bribes. The game itself, I guess my one-line version, or my one-line review of the game is, this is the ancient Roman version of Munchkin. There's really no other way to explain it. Each player is going to control a set of leaders, and then you're going to be using those leaders to kill your opponent's leaders. And whoever kills the most opponent's leaders wins the game, or if you're playing a variety of rounds, then you win some points for that round, and you continue on until you play a certain amount of rounds, and whoever has the most points wins. At the beginning of the game, each player sets in front of them 5 leaders. Now you can see these leaders here, and let me show you a close-up of one of the leaders. This leader is an East Roman leader, Ballista, and you can see, basically from his card, all you need to know is what type he is, which says East Roman, and they're each a different color too, and that helps. How many points he's worth 4. And then over here, what legions he can control. He can control the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd legion of the East Roman Empire. And there's different ones. You see I have 2 leaders here from Gaul. I have a leader from the Greeks, and I have a leader from the Romans here. There's also some symbols on the cards. If there's a money bag on it, he can be bribed. If there's a dagger on it, then he can be assassinated. And most of them have money bags, and several of them have daggers. Now, players are basically using a hand of cards from this deck, and you have 5 cards in your hand. On your turn, you have 3 different actions that you can take. You can try to assassinate an opposing leader, you can try to bribe an opponent's leader, or you can draw and then play one of these cards from your hand. When you're assassinating a leader, you simply, for example here, the only leader who can be assassinated is this gentleman here. You look at their number, for example, he's a 3, and you simply have to roll higher than that number, a 4, 5, or 6. If you do so, you assassinate him, he's dead, you put him in a pile in front of you. These are victory points that you then control. If you roll 1, however, on assassination, then the guy whose leader you're trying to assassinate gets to pick one of your leaders, and then that leader is assassinated from you, and they get the points. Isn't that horrible? Bribery is a little bit different. Bribery is the same thing. You pick a leader. Let's say I'm going to pick this leader here, and he has a number 4 on his card, so I need to roll 5 or 6, and if I roll 5 or 6, which is higher than a 4, then I take this leader and put him in front of me. He's now one of my leaders. If I fail, nothing happens. So bribery has no really negative consequences to anybody, but on the other hand, it's not as good. It's much better to kill a leader than to get another leader added to your team. Now, when playing cards, and I guess this is really the heart of the game, there's several different main types of cards. Several of them are legions. For example, this is the East Roman 3rd Legion. You can only play this card if you control an East Roman leader who can also control the 3rd Legion. And as you saw when I first showed you this card, this guy lets you do that. So if I have this guy as one of my leaders, I can play this card. This card is worth a -3 points, and I can play this card on someone else. So I can play it on this leader. I wouldn't play it on my own, but I'd play it on someone else. He's a 4, but -3, now he's down to 1. If someone else manages to play another card on them, for example, this Legion here from Africa, which is -2, he's now below 0. The person who actually killed him gets the leader and puts it in front of them. There's also Barbarian cards, which can be played on leaders, just like those Legion cards. You can see these are the Vandals, and this is -2. Barbarian cards are different. It doesn't matter which leaders I control. It matters which leader I'm attacking. It's hard to see here, but you can. This leader can. These barbarians attack the Romans or the Greeks. It mentions it here on these two little icons on the cards. So this can be played on anyone. So when you're playing a Legion, it matters who is the person attacking. I need an East Roman to attack. When using barbarians, it matters who you are attacking. And so I must attack either a Roman leader or a Greek leader with this card. Then there are all kinds of other cards in the deck. I mean, all different types of things. There's Desertion, a powerful card that's -2. You have to add it, though, to a place where there's already barbarians or a legion attacking someone. There is an Alliance, which gives you another leader. Woohoo! There are forts, which adds 1 to the leader's value and protects him against assassinations. It's one of the best cards in the deck, just like the Praetorian Guard, which adds 2 and protects you against bribes and mutiny. There's a Diplomat, which protects you from being attacked each round. There's Insurrections. This is an Insurrection East Roman. Every East Roman leader has to roll, even your own, if you have any. And a 1 or 2, they're dead. No one gets points for them. They're just dead. Now, all these cards are in the deck, and there's all different sorts of things. And it's fun. All right? Don't get me wrong. It's fun. But at the same time, the whole time I'm playing, I'm thinking, this is stupid. This is so dumb. Because really, there's no rhyme and reason at all. There's not a lot of entertainment in attacking people, because if you're the first person to attack someone, invariably someone else is going to finish them off. So no one wants to attack anybody, because they don't want to be the first person to throw a card down, because someone else is going to come around. The assassinations and briberies, though, those are flying all over the place. As long as the people, if you have a guy who can be assassinated or bribed, he's dead. You can bring more leaders on the table, but big deal. Leaders for you don't do anything. It only matters on how many you kill. You can have one leader and be just plugging along doing fine, just playing evil cards on other people. And it's back and forth. Why'd you play that card against me? I don't know. And people are going back and forth playing cards, and it's just really silly. You'll find yourself referring to the rulebook for the cards sometimes. Can this card be played in this situation and stuff? But in reality, it's really simple. Assassinate, bribe, play a card. When the deck runs out, whoever has most leaders. And really, you can go through the whole game and have 16 leaders in front of you and have never killed an opponent's leader. And that sort of thing happens. It's a lot of luck rolling these dice. You can just roll poorly every time. There's drawing cards. Everyone can gang up on someone. There's so many inherent problems in this game. I mean, really, there's going to be a lot of people out there. A lot of you are just going to absolutely despise it. Because, I mean, I like the theme. The Eastern Roman theme is interesting, attacking one another. But the way it's implemented here, it just is luck, chaos effect. I'm going to attack you. There's nothing you can do about it. Then he'll attack you. The next person will attack you. The third person is the only person to get points out of the deal. So, really, I guess the idea is to negotiate with other players, but it really doesn't matter. It's just stupid fun. I don't know why I like it, and even though I do like it, I can't imagine myself bringing it out all the time. But I would suspect it's because I laughed pretty much the whole game. It's just dumb. To see an insurrection take out someone's own people, to see several failed assassinations against the same character, to see some guy sit there with 2 leaders and people are still attacking him even though someone else is 8 and then whining up about it. I don't know. I can't give this one a very high recommendation, but if you're looking for something silly about the Romans, Roman Munchkin. That's what I can say about it. So it's up to you whether that's your style of game or not.
Thanks for joining us today. For more written, audio, and video reviews, as well as the #1 board game podcast, check out the website at www.thedicetower.com. Until then, this is Eric Zimmerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower.